Hey everyone, welcome back. It's me, Average, and we are doing another video on our full stack Nuxt.js development series. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. I'm really sorry. It's been such a busy year, but I am really happy about the support that this series is getting. It's a lot more than I expected. So thank you guys so much. Also, I appreciate your patience if you're coming from previous videos and you're following through on the series. Okay, so today we are going to be looking at Nuxt images or assets. So our website is pretty basic, pretty flat. Not a whole lot going on here. We kind of just have some very basic stuff. It's not really a website, but I do want to show you guys how to add images. So if you're used to importing images from, kind of just how you would do it with static HTML, the process is a little bit different. So it's pretty easy. Basically, what you're going to need to do is if we want our assets to be publicized on the server so you can access them directly, we can go to our public folder in our Nuxt app. So anything that goes inside of public, you'll actually be able to access directly from the path here. So if I do robots.txt, you'll notice that it is exactly what is inside of here. Robots.txt is for configuring search engine crawling. You can disallow them from indexing certain pages. Like let's say you have an admin dashboard. Like let's say you don't want Google to have your admin dashboard up there. You would be able to configure it here. Also, we have our favicon.ico, which is just the default Nuxt icon. If you do want to replace this, you can replace favicon.ico with your own, and it will show up for the tab title. So that's pretty cool. Now, how do you actually get images on here? So let's look for an image. I'm just going to put an image of a sea otter on there because they're kind of just silly. We're going to do this one. And so let's just save the image, obviously. And then we're going to drag it inside of our public folder. And we can call this whatever we want. We can just call this seaotter.jpg. And now when we go to /seaotter.jpg, we'll get the image because it's now served on our server. How do we actually get it onto our web pages? So the basic way is doing it through just the regular image tag. So the image tag can obviously access these things. Let's go to our index here and let's just put an image above the page title, and the source is just going to be /seaotter.jpg, like so. And also it's usually recommended to put alt tags, so we can say a cute sea otter. Alt tags are for search engines as well as people who are using accessibility features. So you'll notice we get this issue here. I'm going to surround this in a div, by the way, because that is the recommended way to do views on Nuxt. So yeah, we're going to have this issue here where it's failing to import assets. If we just get out of here, and I think if we npx Nuxt prepare, and then let's just run, and I believe it should be there. Okay, yeah, there we go. So we have our image of our sea otter here. So our image is a little bit big. We're going to turn the width down a bit. So we're going to say the width. So we're going to make the width 300, and we're going to make the height 240. So there you go, we get our sea otter. Something we can actually do with Tailwind, which is nice, is we can do aspect video, which will kind of fix the aspect ratio even if we type in incorrect kind of spacing for this. So I think this will just try and force it into 16:9. Also, on all the pages, I think we have a layout. Yeah, default layout here. On all of the pages, I'm going to just surround our content in a div. And I'm going to just apply some padding because it'll look a lot nicer if it's not so like to the side as it is right now. So something like that looks a bit better in my opinion. I mean, you can do it however you would like to, guys. It's totally your choice. There is also a more private directory that can only really be accessed by the server components, and you wouldn't be able to access it in the same way that you would a public file or public image. So if we go into our assets folder, we're going to make a new folder and we're just going to call it img for image. And inside of here, we're going to move our seaotter.jpg into there. Now you'll notice when we refresh, no longer do we have the sea otter image because it's not in our public. So that means we also can't go back to seaotter.jpg anymore. It's gone. It does not exist. That's because we have it in our assets folder. We can't access it the same way. So the way that we do access it is we put a tilde and then we do a slash and then we say assets /img. And there we go. Now we have our sea otter. That's how you do a basic HTML image. However, in Nuxt, there is something called Nuxt Image. Nuxt Image is basically a image optimization module that they made, and it does a lot of stuff for you to get more optimized, faster images, better load times, and also better SEO. So you can see some stuff that they have down here. So we're going to install this module. Just going to copy this to clipboard, and I'll put this in the description below, and we're just going to stop our server and paste this in. Okay, and now we're going to do npm run dev, and you'll notice images work exactly the same way, but we're not really using our Nuxt image model just yet. And how we do that actually is just replacing this literally with Nuxt image, like so. Okay, so you'll notice that our image does not load, and this is because we're actually storing it in the assets image folder. And there's a pretty simple fix for that. We just need to move this back into the public directory because the assets area is actually managed by our bundler, which is Vite and not Nuxt itself. So to allow Nuxt image to see it, it's going to need to be in the public directory or stored remotely somewhere else. So we can also do some other things with Nuxt image. So for example, if we want a placeholder to show when this image is not loaded, it will show a placeholder, as you can see, like that. And you can also customize this placeholder to be any image you want. So if I wanted it to be the favicon, I believe I could do that. Yeah, so there you go. You can make the placeholder anything you want, but if you just do placeholder, it'll just do a gray background by default. Something else we can do is serve this in a different format. So if we want to serve our JPEG file in, let's say, a webp file, we can do format equals webp. And now when we save this image as, you'll notice that it will become a webp file when we save it. For those of you who don't know, webp is kind of the standard for web content nowadays. I think Google SEO recommends it if you want faster load times. So yeah, that's something that you can do. You can just do format equals webp and you don't have to do any conversions at all. As well as this, we can also reduce the quality of the image by using a quality attribute. So we can say 50 or 20 or even less. We could do 10. And you might not be able to tell because it's a bit of a smaller image, but if we increase the size of it, you'll notice that the image is definitely lower quality than it was at the beginning. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell because it's on YouTube, but it will decrease the quality quite substantially. This might be better to show you while the image is bigger. So let's just have it here on the side, and we'll have this here. So let's try increasing the quality. You'll probably notice that it's starting to look a bit sharper. It also does look kind of... there we go. Let's do it like this. So Nuxt will automatically make it responsive for you. So this is quality 100. Let's save the image, and that is 622 kilobytes. Let's drop it down to quality 10 and save the image now. And that has considerably reduced our file. So with quality 100, we were at 622 kilobytes. Quality 10, we're at 75. You can even do quality 1. I mean, it's 42 kilobytes, so still not that much less, but I mean, yeah, you can alter the quality on the fly however you want to, which I think is really cool. There's also the fit property. By default, the attribute for this is always going to be cover. So this preserves the aspect ratio, and it ensures that the image is covering the container with, and it will crop and it will clip the image to fit inside of it. There's also contain, which will use letterboxing to fit in a container. It's not the best example, but be aware that there is a fit attribute and it can help you with resizing. You'll notice that when you refresh the page, the image will kind of be this initial size. So to prevent this jittering issue, we can give it an actual width and an actual height. We'll just do width 200 and height 100, and we'll also still see some jitter, but that is because of our placeholder is kind of breaking things. So we can just do this, and now we won't really have that jitter anymore because it has some reserved space and it won't be responsively changing the size. This is what we'll end up getting. We can also add a preload attribute, and what this will do is it'll just preload the image before the page is actually finished loading. So it will add it as a link tag in the head. which is right here. So we preload this image before the rest of the content is loaded at all. So if this image is like on the front page, you're probably going to want to preload it. There's also lazy loading. So if we do loading equals and we do lazy, this will happen for images that are outside of the viewport. So this image won't load. Like, let's say the page started like this. It was this big and the image was up here. It wouldn't load the image until it's actually required. So it'll dynamically load it when necessary, which can improve your page load times. I mean, I think that's everything for images. Not a whole lot else. I'll leave the Nuxt Image module link in the description, but I hope you guys enjoyed and this video helped you out. Thanks for watching.